Picture the perfect family, living in a beautiful mansion, beloved by all. Now imagine waking up one day to find that this picture of perfection has been shattered. This was the reality that the quiet town of Osbaston faced on a late summer morning in 2008. The Foster family, a pillar of the community, living in their grand mansion, appeared to have it all. But behind the doors of the stunning residence, a tragedy was brewing. On the 26th of August, as the world was still blanketed in the quiet of the early morning hours, a chilling call came through to Shropshire Central Fire Control. The majestic Osbaston mansion was engulfed in flames. The clock read 4 a.m., and time, as it seemed, was running out for the Fosters. As the firefighters raced to the scene, their hearts pounding with urgency, they were met with an unexpected obstacle. A large horsebox was blocking the entrance to the mansion. A delay in an operation where every second counted. The firefighters did their best, battling not just the blaze, but also the hindrance that was laid out for them. But by the time they managed to breach the mansion's gates, the sight that met their eyes was one of utter devastation. The mansion, once a symbol of the Foster family's success and happiness, was now a smoldering ruin. And what of the Fosters? The family who had lived and loved within those grand walls? The unfortunate truth was that they too had been consumed by the fire. A family who had been the heart of their community was reduced to mere ashes. As the smoke cleared and the reality of the situation began to sink in, the police made a chilling discovery. The horsebox that had delayed the firefighters wasn't just a random obstacle, it was deliberately placed there, a sinister act meant to obstruct the rescue. This was no accident, this was something far more horrifying. Who could bear such animosity towards this beloved family? Who would want to see their world go up in flames? With the mansion ablaze and access blocked, the first responders had no idea what awaited them inside. As the smoke cleared, the grim reality began to unfold. The once grand Osbaston mansion was now nothing more than a charred shell of its former self. The heart of the home, where laughter and love once echoed, was replaced with a deafening silence. This silence was only broken by the crackle of embers, a chilling reminder of the inferno that had consumed everything in its path. The first responders were met with a sight that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Among the remnants of the mansion, they found the bodies of the Foster family. The discovery was a hard blow, a confirmation of the unthinkable. But this was just the beginning of a series of unsettling revelations. As the firefighters recounted their efforts to save the mansion, a peculiar detail emerged. They spoke of a large horsebox that had mysteriously blocked the entrance, delaying their response. This wasn't a mere inconvenience. It was a deliberate act, a calculated move designed to hinder their progress. The revelation sent a shiver down the spines of the investigators. It painted a sinister picture that was hard to ignore. This wasn't just an unfortunate accident. It was a premeditated act of malice. The horsebox wasn't just a random obstacle, it was a tool, used with cruel intent to maximize the damage. Suddenly the case took a chilling turn. The fire wasn't just a tragic accident, it was a weapon. The mansion wasn't just a home, it was a crime scene. The Fosters weren't just victims of a fire, they were victims of a heinous crime. The unsettling truth began to dawn on everyone. The Foster family had not only been robbed of their home, they had been robbed of their lives. The question that haunted everyone began to echo louder and louder. Who could harbor such animosity towards the beloved Foster family? Who could be responsible for their tragic demise? The answers were yet to be found, but the clues were starting to form a dark and twisted tale. Suddenly this wasn't just a tragic fire, it was a crime scene. As investigators dug deeper, they found a chilling truth hidden beneath the ashes. The investigation into the Foster family tragedy was nothing short of complex. From the onset, law enforcement had their work cut out for them. The first task? Sifting through the rubble of what used to be the picture-perfect Osbaston mansion. Every charred piece of debris became a potential clue. Every blackened item, a possible key to understanding the chain of events that led to the fire. The magnitude of the task was immense, but the investigators remained unfazed, their determination steeled by the thought of the innocent lives lost. As they collected evidence, they noticed something peculiar. The way the fire spread, the intensity of the burn, the place where it started, everything pointed towards the fire being more than just an unfortunate accident. It was a deliberate act of arson, but who could have done such a thing? And more importantly, why? As they dug deeper, they began to search for potential suspects. They looked into the Foster family's past, their relationships, their dealings. They interviewed neighbors, friends, even distant relatives. Everyone was a potential suspect. But it was the unsettling discovery in the security footage that truly set the course of the investigation. Cameras that had been installed for protection had now become silent witnesses to a horrifying crime. There, in the grainy footage, was the answer they had been searching for. The horse box that had been blocking the entrance wasn't just randomly parked there, it was deliberately placed to delay the firefighters. The footage showed a shadowy figure maneuvering the horse box into position, then disappearing into the night. This was no accident. It was a calculated act, designed to ensure that help would arrive too late. The realization sent a shiver down their spines. This beloved family hadn't just died in a tragic accident, they were victims of a heinous crime. What they found in that footage would turn this case on its head. The footage told a story that no one was prepared for. It was an eerie dance of shadows and silhouettes, painting a picture of the night the Foster family's world went up in flames. The security footage, though grainy and marred by the flickering firelight, revealed the chilling truth. This wasn't a mere accident. This was something far more sinister. The horse box, previously thought to be an unfortunate obstacle, was actually a calculated tool of delay. Its hulking form, captured on camera, was deliberately maneuvered into place, blocking the entrance to the mansion. The intention was clear: to stall the firefighters, to buy time for the flames to consume everything and everyone. As investigators peeled back the layers of this horrifying revelation, a chilling question arose. Who would harbor such a deep-seated animosity towards this beloved family? Who could be so cold, so calculated to engineer their tragic demise? The reactions to this discovery were a mix of shock and disbelief. Friends, neighbors, even seasoned investigators were left aghast. The Fosters were seen as pillars of the community, their generosity and kindness well known. The notion that someone could wish them harm was unthinkable. And yet, the evidence was there, stark against the backdrop of smoldering ashes and charred memories. The implications were far-reaching. Trust was shattered, the community was left reeling, and a sense of unease pervaded the quaint town of Osbaston. The investigation took a darker turn. Every interaction was scrutinized, every alibi questioned, every motive considered. The idyllic image of the Foster family was replaced with a haunting question mark. The question wasn't just who had done this, but why. As the plot thickened, the search for answers intensified. The sinister plot was unveiled, setting the stage for a search that would shake the very foundations of the community. The shocking case of the Foster family was far from over. The investigation took a dark turn as the motive behind the tragedy began to emerge. The once tranquil community of Osbaston was now caught in the throes of a chilling mystery. A mystery that revolved around the beloved Foster family. The search for answers was not just a police matter, but a desperate plea from a community in shock and grief. Investigators tirelessly pursued leads, sifting through evidence as they attempted to piece together the chilling puzzle. But the deeper they delved, the more sinister the plot appeared. The horse box, the deliberate obstruction, the merciless blaze, every detail pointed to a heinous act of malice. But why? What could prompt such a horrifying act against a family who seemed to embody perfection? The quest for justice was overwhelming, not just for the law enforcement, but for everyone who knew the Fosters. Friends, neighbors, even distant relatives all found themselves asking the same questions. Who would want to harm this family? And more importantly, why? Yet every lead seemed to take them in circles. Every motive seemed implausible. The Fosters were adored by many, envied by some, but despised. That seemed out of the question. The investigation appeared to be at a standstill, the answers as elusive as ever. But then a breakthrough. A glimmer of hope in the midst of despair. The security footage, thought to have been lost in the fire, was salvaged. The footage held answers, chilling answers that sent a shudder down even the most seasoned investigator's spine. The reality of what transpired that fateful night was far more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, the true horror of the situation became clear. The Foster family, once the embodiment of perfection, was now at the center of a sinister plot, a plot that had cost them their lives. The search for answers had only just begun and the path to justice was steeped in darkness and uncertainty. The shocking truth behind the Foster family tragedy was more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. The security camera footage, painstakingly restored from the charred wreckage of the Osbaston mansion, held the answers that investigators had been seeking. It was a revelation that sent waves of disbelief through the community and beyond. The perpetrator was not an outsider with a vendetta against the Fosters, as many had speculated. It was not a random act of violence or a botched burglary. No, the person responsible for this atrocity was within the family, a wolf in sheep's clothing hiding in plain sight. Christopher Foster, the patriarch, the man who had everything, a successful business, a beautiful wife, a loving daughter, a mansion, and a reputation as a pillar of the community. He was the one who set his own house on fire, deliberately blocking the entrance with a horse trailer to delay the firefighters. It was a chilling act of despair and destruction that ended 3 lives and shattered the illusion of the perfect family. The community was left reeling. The friendly, successful businessman they thought they knew was unmasked as a desperate man, driven to the edge by financial ruin and personal demons. His actions unveiled a different side of the Foster family, a side marked by secrets, deceit, and desperation. The repercussions were felt far beyond the boundaries of their small town. The case became a stark reminder of how appearances can be deceiving, how the facade of a perfect life can hide a grim reality. It was a wake-up call, a plea for society to look beyond the surface, to reach out to those who might be struggling in silence. In the wake of this shocking case, one thing was certain: the Foster family's picture-perfect life was nothing more than a tragic illusion. The Foster family case wasn't just a local tragedy, it was a story that shook the world. The news of the horrific incident spread like wildfire, leaving a trail of shock and devastation that reached far beyond the borders of Shropshire. From Australia to Alaska, from Tokyo to Toronto, people found themselves captivated by this chilling tale of a family's sudden demise. The magnitude of the tragedy was such that it didn't just capture the attention of the public, but also of the authorities worldwide. Fire departments across the globe closely watched the case unfold, realizing the need for improved protocols and heightened vigilance. The deliberate placement of the horse box to delay the firefighters was a chilling reminder of the lengths at which a perpetrator can go to ensure the success of their sinister plans. In the wake of this tragedy, there was a surge in the demand for advanced security systems. People began to understand the importance of having a well-secured home, not just against burglars, but also against potential threats from within. The unsettling discovery from the security footage served as a wake-up call, highlighting the importance of surveillance in both prevention and resolution of such heinous acts. The Foster family case also sparked a renewed conversation around mental health. Questions began to arise. How could someone harbor such animosity towards their own family? Could this have been prevented? The case underscored the urgency to break down the stigma surrounding mental health and to ensure that help is available to those who need it. As the world grappled with the shock, the tragedy also served as a grim reminder of the fallacy of appearances. It shattered the illusion that a picture-perfect life is immune to darkness and despair. It reminded us that behind the facade of a perfect family, unseen troubles can brew, leading to unthinkable consequences. The Foster family tragedy serves as a chilling reminder that even in seemingly perfect lives, darkness can lurk just beneath the surface.